Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. And today, we have some food for thought. It is gonna be a really interesting video, so buckle up, sit rightfully nice on your potty, and let's dive right in. Alright, so first of all, I want to answer two questions, which are, when settlement, and why is tomorrow such a big day? These were the two most common questions I saw in the comment section, and so let me quickly address them. When settlement is a really difficult answer. We don't really know what is going to play a role into it. We don't know if they've been discussing it, but if we were to believe Jeremy Hogan, it's not going to be in 2021. That has to do a little bit with the fact that things have been extended and with the fact that both sides are not really looking as if they're planning to go settle. So theoretically speaking, we can see a settlement or just the normal procedure to summary judgment file out or play out, but that would definitely be a little bit into 2022, which is kind of contradictory to BitBoy's September prediction. Also, our ideas of a settlement in 2021 have kind of been thrown out the window due to Ripple and the SEC's delays. And now, why is tomorrow such a big day? That question is a lot easier. A lot of separate decisions are going to rely on the conclusion that is drawn tomorrow. Long story short, tomorrow is the conclusion on whether or not the SEC can keep hiding documents. The judge has already ruled in Ripple's favor twice, yet the SEC has really decided time and time again to still not give it over. If the SEC hands over that information, there has been some speculation, also spearheaded by me sometimes, that it could be that specifically, that part, is going to play a pivotal role in a settlement conclusion eventually, because we've seen before, the SEC has tried so hard to not give the information over that they might not want it to hand over before settling, if you guys get that. So they might just come to a settlement before actually handing the information over because they just don't want Ripple to have it. And what I mean with that is, well, there's information regarding the status of Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP throughout these years, and as it currently stands, the SEC has done no efforts to give them over. They've been discussing about that, and all of a sudden, if Ripple gets access to all that info, they might put some juice, which relates Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP to one another. And like we've been discussing for the last couple of days, guys, Ether and XRP, if they are connected in any way, shape, or form, or if the SEC gave that anticipation, wow, we're looking good, because that basically means that all the different speeches from William Hinman and whatnot can also connect to XRP, which kind of sets them free. All right, but Digital Asset Investor just shared this over on Twitter. The picture now becomes more clear. Turns out the Hinman announcement cleared the way for Ether futures from the president of the CBOE himself. Now, Frank Chaparro said a little while ago, this announcement clears any key stumbling block for Ether futures. The case for which we've been considering since we launched the first Bitcoin futures in December 2017, according to the CBOE president Chris Concannon. And this is from all the way back in 2018, a little bit after the speech by William Hinman. And you can see here, there's a little bit afterwards, right? Ethereum spikes after the SEC declares it is not a security, by once more the CBOE head himself. We have the article right here as well over on Business Insider. You can just kind of read that for yourself or pause it if there's any specific part you want to read. I'm going to say it's not that important because we have the general gist of it, but here, Chris Concannon, the president and COO of CBOE Global Markets, the exchange group behind the first Bitcoin futures product, said the announcement clears the way for Ether-linked futures. As with this guidance, the SEC is showing that taking a pro-innovation approach does not, once more, the SEC didn't show anything, right? It was just William Hinman. But no, even they were seeing it differently. That are taking a pro-innovation approach does not have to come at the expense of protecting investors. Yet, that's not the case. The center's executive director, Jerry Brito, said in a statement. Are you guys getting this? Oh, it is so funny. It is so funny to me. All right, and then another one, Digital Asset Investor has been doing some crazy digging recently. It's crazy. So Yahoo Finance shared this in 2018 over on their Twitter. Ether explodes after news about the SEC not classifying it as a security. Miles Utland and Rick J. Newman break down the significance for other crypto. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I didn't actually notice that this was all going on at the time. In 2018, I was doing daily uploads, and I might have even covered it, but now thinking back, I can't remember too much about it, but I might just kind of look back into my 2018 videos to see if I updated about this situation back then. Could kind of be funny. Then, guys, I shared with you guys a little bit earlier Crypto Aries coverage of some new PowerPoint of some sort that's Ripple owned that talks about on-demand liquidity receiver roadmap. Now, I tried my best. I could not find where the frick she got this from. So I have no idea how to verify this except for the fact that it's a really, really credible source because it's Crypto Aries, right? We all trust that. Now, the question in my head pops up, though, which is, what exactly does this mean and how exactly does it work? Because now, in my knowledge, right, there's quite a couple of different corridors that Ripple has. Right? Okay. Well, we know them. We, for example, have talked about Mexico before, the Philippines before. Now, when I was looking into some of these documents that have just been announced throughout the last couple of years, here, for example, is, let's see, this is about let's say 2 months ago or so. Ripple announces new ODL corridors in the UK and Brazil, right? This was even before the Japan corridor was announced. Now, I find it interesting how the UK is in this Q2 list, yet Brazil isn't, or am I missing that? That is just interesting to me. So Brazil still needs to be added to it. Then again, another one that I find interesting is that Japan hasn't actually been added in this entire list, right, into the on-demand liquidity receiver roadmap. So does that mean that Japan is going to be a send-only corridor, or am I missing something, or what exactly is going on right there? I'm not really sure, right? I'm really not too sure. Very, very interesting, though. Even if we actually, I'm gonna type it in on the sideline here for you guys. Japan ODL, because I think there's actually another connection, right? Let's quickly check it out right here. So you have, is Japan only going to be the Philippines, or is there also a South Korea or Thailand type of connection? I forgot about that. Ooh, because I know it's Japan to the Philippines for sure. But it could be then, I guess, that it's only going to be that you can send from Japan, but not receive. Maybe that's what they're supposed to mean with the receiver end. It's just when they are creating the, the other end of the spectrum, basically. That could definitely be so. Here it says that the launch of ODL in Japan is just the start, and we look forward to continuing the push to the next frontier of financial innovation, beyond real-time payments in just the Philippines, but also other parts of the region. Ooh, okay. I needed to kind of look a little bit further than my nose is long, guys. Let me know what you think down below, though, about the conclusion. Once more, I tried my best to find the document itself. I have no idea how some people find that type of stuff, but as it currently stands, I believe it is only Japan to Philippines that they're talking about right here. If I'm missing something, though, you can definitely let me know in the comment section. All right, moving on, because we have more. You actually saw on the right part here that another liquidity receiver is going to be Singapore. And that's quite interesting because you can see here it is in progress. I'm assuming that in progress means they're looking for a partner. Like, for example, these are all done through Neum, and Triangelo here is the party for that one. I'm guessing in progress is not the company that they're doing Singapore with, but it's meaning it's in progress. I could be wrong on that one too. Now, it's interesting because I just saw this article. Ripple not among the 15 finalists in the Singapore Global CBDC Challenge, or appear to be a part. This was just shared 13 seconds ago. Interesting. Today, the Monetary Authority of Singapore announced 15 finalists for its Global CBDC Challenge to find the best solutions for retail central bank digital currencies. Singapore has not committed to launching a CBDC itself, but the initiative was launched in conjunction with the World Bank, the IMF, and other global institutions. Now, the Global CBDC Challenge aims to discover and develop retail CBDC solutions that will benefit the global community, said Sopnendu Mohanty, MAS Chief FinTech Officer. There was a healthy diversity of solution approaches across the different problem statement categories. And, well, yeah, I guess you guys can get already that eventually now here, they're using quite a couple of parties, but Ripple is not involved in that sense. And it got a lot of people wondering exactly how that all works and how it's going to come along. Because one thing I found interesting is that Triangelo here, which is talked about over in the Philippines. You can see here Triangelo is being used for that. I actually have an article on that. Let me see where it is now. We have, let's actually say this first. Take this with a grain of salt because of something I'm about to show you in just a second, all right? But I'm going to show you two things. So what we had is an article here which says Ripple-backed Tranglo, who is the company who's also working with the Philippine corridor for Ripple right now, receives new approvals from the MAS. So the Monetary Authority of Singapore is pretty, nice on the Ripple forefront. The company obtained approvals from the Monetary Authority of Singapore under the Payment Service Act, which I guess would also be logical if they used, Tranglo then for the Singapore corridor. But all right, that's, let that be what it is. Now, if they've gotten some sort of approval from the MAS and they're then, familiar with how Ripple works and whatnot, it is strange to me that they wouldn't at all think of Ripple in this regard. I just find it kind of odd exactly how that's moving along, because you would kind of think that Ripple is setting themselves, for example, through Standard Chartered here, such a big example over in that area that I don't really understand. You have, wait, let me actually show you guys the other article that I have. You have this article as well, which is kind of contradictory. Updated, XRP has not been snubbed by MAS. Ripple's XRP takes another blow from a major banking institution, which was rather interesting. The MAS rep struck a blow at JP Morgan, the number of the one US bank, yada, yada, yada. Let's actually see. One thing that was very convincing for us is the overall efficiency gain in cross-border. No, I don't actually know if there's any contradictory info in this one, actually. Okay, never mind. I thought the article was a little bit different than it was. No, never mind. Here it is again. One thing that was very convincing for us is the overall efficiency gain in cross-border payments. We don't see much in the Ripple Bank digital currency, but definitely still a lot of hope that we can fix a lot of inefficiencies when it comes to cross-border payments, said Sup Nendu, Chief Financial Officer, or FinTech Officer actually. It's a different CFO at MAS. During a 2019 Business of Blockchain event held on May 2nd. Sorry guys, if you're wondering, I have so many articles open on the side, and sometimes I like to, drag them in here if they're relevant to the story, if I feel the necessity for it. But that also sometimes forms a problem where I've read all these things, but then I have to kind of draw back into my memory, explaining exactly what part of what article was important and how they link together. And as you can see, I have a ton of stuff here open. I have exactly the same amount here open on the side of just sources that I might want to use in this video. So that's a little bit as to why. Now, this is the second major snub for Ripple in less than a month. As U-Today reported in April, Japanese banking giant Resona Bank has pulled the plug on MoneyTap, the payment app powered by Ripple's Xcurrent. In the meantime, banks are still wary of Ripple's new XRapid product, which is actually using XRP to make cross-border payments. A couple of things to say. One is, you can now see as a conclusion that even though one bank, or maybe two or three, have dropped Ripple through MoneyTap, which is their their venture in Japan, it doesn't actually mean anything, because eventually the Japan corridor was also opened. And even before them saying they're not really that interested in XRP, the MAS is not that interested in XRP's native token, that does not mean they couldn't, because they've basically said how they're interested in Ripple's technology, right? Because once more, they've got a lot of hope that Ripple can fix a lot of this cross-border payment system. I'm guessing one of the major reasons why they don't want to use or have to use or actually have to involve Ripple at all is because this retail CBDC is mostly intra-country. It mostly is national, and it doesn't really talk about too many borders, I guess, right? I guess that's just literally why they don't need it. Or for the fact that there have been so many applications and include a mixture of big banks, tech organizations already heavily involved with CBDC initiatives. Maybe it is that once they move towards a different area, like for example, cross-border or a global CBDC, instead of a simple retail national CBDC potentially, that they're going to ask for Ripple's help or so. But, once more, the MAS has let multiple statements go regarding XRP/Ripple. A lot of them have been positive, some of them have been bad. But even though the MAS is not interested in XRP specifically, they don't have to utilize XRP or even Ripple for that matter. I had a conclusion here as well. So one fun thing I'll talk about in the next video, because I see I don't have another. I thought maybe this would only take 5 minutes. I would do this episode, but we'll do it next episode. Is how Ripple on their website talks about only having 5 ODL markets right now. So there's only 5 that are live right now, which is interesting. And the fact that they use the complete market cap of XRP. We'll get to those two parts. No, this one I guess we discussed. This one I'll get to a little bit later because it's interesting. Now, also Crypto Airy over on Twitter. Ooh, did I just delete the tweet? Okay, I might have actually accidentally deleted the tweet. But basically what Crypto Airy was requesting, I'll just go to Crypto Airy's Twitter. Let me actually find that. There we go. Let me open that up. So she was basically saying on her Twitter, photo, Hinman speaking at the Tech GC National Summit. which the Ripple team asked in the deposition if there was any video of this fireside chat from October 26th. I could only find a photo. Let's see if DAI can show us more amazing sleuthing skills as, well, he talked on there. I went to do a little bit of research. I could not really find too much. I could find videos, of course, and them ringing the bell. But apparently, William Hinman gave a speech here at about 12:10 p.m. and people are looking for this video. If you know where to find it, if you got it, let us know over on Twitter. It could be cool, right? Because you're doing great service because Ripple was looking for it and the SEC didn't want to give it over. Then, Big Short billionaire John Paulson prefers gold over Bitcoin because there's very limited amount of investable bullion. And also, here's why this billionaire investor predicts crypto will go to zero. Fun fact, people who got rich off the Big Short type of thing, right? Or any contradictory breakout move, they often like to put up really heavy predictions that can get them a lot of attention if they're right and doesn't really get them too much attention if they're wrong. But specifically, they make their bets in such a way where they can never really be wrong. What I mean with that is that if you are, for example, right, think about it like this. If you are a big shorter, it is only that you became a billionaire of it that you have some legitimacy. But theoretically speaking, everybody can be the big short guy if you're lucky enough. Theoretically speaking, right, I use Bybit all the time. You guys know it by now. Right? If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you check out Bybit because right now for the next couple of days, there are more than $3,000 worth of bonuses that you can get for free, which is basically free trading capital. Now, I use it all the time. I have a long position open all the time though, right? Theoretically speaking, I'm going to be the big long type of guy just because I'm betting a lot of money that the price is going to go up at one point or another in a sort of breakout. You can do the same thing with a short though. And you know what? You might be right at one point or another. And you might make a couple $1 million off of a couple $1 billion. Because if you're betting Bitcoin is going to zero, when exactly are you proven wrong? Once it hit $1 million, once it hits 10 million, it can always still go to zero. I mean, same thing for gold, same thing for the S&P. It can always still fail. And if you're a person who bets on failure, you've never really lost until you've won or until you can just kind of count your quits. If you consider, however, the winning I guess just betting on a win is a lot less difficult. It's a lot more difficult than betting on a lose to really lose, I guess, because something can more easier fail, I guess, than, never mind. You guys hopefully get the conclusion I was trying to draw it there. I'm getting lost in my own words. I was just kind of saying, you guys most likely get it. And then these two things I'll cover in some smaller videos later, but let me give you the drawdowns. Coinbase hoards $4 billion in cash, ready for possible crypto bear market. Coinbase is going to buy a ton of freaking Bitcoin once it comes to it, or crypto. And then betting on a Bitcoin bull run, not in September. This is always the thing, right? Very often they draw conclusions because of history. And even though history does repeat itself every so often, it doesn't always. And so drawing conclusions out of this is really something you can't do. For example, here we've had 2 green. Here we have 2 green. Here we got 2 green. So right now it's going to be red. It could be. But, I mean, yeah. Every, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4 times after, for example, 1 green month here in April, the next month was green, right? But 1, 2 times it wasn't. And then 1, 2, and even 3 times it was just completely different. Story being, you don't really know exactly what's going to happen. Just because it was red all these times could be just a coincidence. It could literally be. I mean, you don't know. And ultimately, though, I guess if you're expecting a bull market, they're just saying wait another month because October throughout February going to be most amazing, I guess. That's also something which we covered a little bit earlier, though, that usually throughout these last couple of years, the big bull runs start in about October, a little bit after the summer, which I guess I can be excited for because if you look at the numbers here, well, yeah, it's better to just bet on October all the time because, well, you have a higher chance of being right, I guess. But yeah. Guys, that was it for today's video. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe, and I will definitely see you guys again in another crypto video later today.